2021 was a year where my life has to face one challenge after another. I don't know if this will be the year I will finally say I quit. What do you think? Well, let me get this all out of the way. It's scripted, so be sure to give this a watch. My name is Jose, but I'm best known as MegamanNG. I'm the YouTuber who deserves better, and I can't stress all that enough. Welcome to the State of Address for January 2022. This also doubles as my monthly update for the first month of the new year. I have a lot to say because I'm ready to go all out on this, and no shoutouts and sponsors will be saved for the end of the video. I got something special for that. I decided that this will be the method I will be doing from this moment on. It's not like there's anyone else that wants to support me to begin with. Let me confess something for you guys. I'm a cynic. I have a cynical and messed up way on how I view life, and I speak that from experience. Let's just get this over with, shall we? Chapter 1, 2021 in Review. To summarize, 2021 has been a rather interesting year. But in all honesty, it's a year where everything that could go wrong can go wrong. If you think that I'm joking, I'm not. Period. Schedule changes, gaming laptop blue screen, time off leading to full-on ranting, you name it. There was a lot that just made me want to rant and rage like a goddamn maniac. But there are times where I feel thankful for what I do. Honestly, trying to grow, especially in 2021, was a pain in the ass. Yeah, are you surprised? I'm being vulgar. Don't like it? Bite my blue bomber behind. Anyway, it was hard to grow, and not helped was YouTube continuously making things difficult for a lot of us. I've always said it many times that YouTube never cared about their users. The people responsible for this website being what it is today. The only things Susan and her band of rejects care more for are corporations and profits. That's it. Despite all the negativity that I have towards YouTube, there have been many positives. For starters, I covered a lot of games on the channel. Some are new, others are old, with one being Patreon sponsored. I even did a Fire Emblem game, one that I really wanted to do so much. Fire Emblem 4, Genealogy of the Holy War. That game was just insane. Sure, I didn't do that good, but I had a lot of fun playing it. Hell, I got a shout out from Mangs of all people, so I called that a much needed success. I even did a lot more indie games than AAA titles, to be honest. I did skip some for one reason or another, but regardless, the year was solid. I even decided to stream on YouTube because screw Twitch. It has been 2 years since I was permanently banned from the platform a second time, and honestly, I couldn't be more happier. Streaming on YouTube is better, and I know it'll get even better from here. The problem is that I hardly have the time to stream. Truth is, I would rather stream than make videos. Yeah, I said it. But I have a responsibility to make sure this channel doesn't die. So yeah, 2021 was a year full of turmoil, and it's only going to get better. Or worse for me. Chapter 2, my plans for 2022. With Chapter 1 behind us, let's move forward to the next chapter. My plans for 2022. As I mentioned already in the mid-month update for December 2021, from here on out, I'm no longer doing playthroughs on newer games. Why? The answer's simple. I'm fed up. Doing newer games just ain't fun anymore, especially nowadays when creators can just upload footage of games before it's officially released. Whatever happened to just waiting till release day, huh? Yeah, not only that, but thanks to YouTube's algorithm doing whatever it wants, it can mean that it's more or less a game of chance. Sometimes you're lucky and sometimes you're not. The only exception for me was Blaster Master 03, and that one I was definitely lucky. So yeah, thank you. But this year has a different focus, a different objective. 2022 is the year of retro. Basically, I will be covering old school games, and there are so many that I want to do. There are also many games that I want to redo. Yes, I'm not kidding. There are many games that I want to go back and finish because I felt that the quality of the playthroughs were not that great. That and they came out during a moment in my life that I don't want to mention. But if anyone knows what that is, then you probably know why. Let's move on. Here are a few examples of games that I plan to cover on my channel this year. This includes a few games that I want to redo for the sake of quality improvement. First is Banjo-Kazooie. It's obvious because it's coming to Nintendo Switch Online. I would do the Xbox 360 version, but I don't have an Xbox. No, I know what you're probably going to say, and here's my answer. Don't. Don't donate to me if that's going to go to an Xbox Series X. I plan to get that eventually, and when I do, I'll also be adding Jet Force Gemini in that list. But yeah, Banjo-Kazooie is going to happen, and it's going to be the N64 version. I regret not covering this game sooner, but now there's no excuse. None. And hopefully we get Banjo-Tooie to go with it. If all else fails, I'll do the 360 version, because why not? Next are two sets of trilogies that I neglected to finish. The Sly Cooper trilogy and the original Ratchet & Clank trilogy. In both instances, I completed the first and the second games, but not the third. Why I didn't, I have no idea. Honestly, I don't know what I was going through back then, but now that I have a new focus, there is absolutely no excuse. I'm going back in there and completing them for the sake of putting them to rest, so be on the lookout. In addition, there are also a few GameCube games that I really want to cover on the channel. If you remember, I made a promise for it back in the beginning of the year, but I never made good on it. The first is Beautiful Joe 1 and 2. I really want to cover the Beautiful Joe series. I neglected to do that because my old Wii stopped working. A shame too. At least now I got a new Wii that does fortunately work. Not to mention an AV to HDMI adapter. Then I can be able to record the games in 1080p. It may not be that great, but if that doesn't work, I'll just have it on 720. I only hope that I can pull this off at least. The same can be said for the Tellius duology, Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. There's a rumor that 2022 is where Nintendo will announce a new Fire Emblem. I want it to be the Tellius games because it would probably mean that I don't have to use my Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn games. Don't get me wrong, I want to cover those two games, but I worry that the games may go bad due to not being used as often. So I'm a little hesitant, but I promise I will update when I can. And if anyone asks, I'm doing Path of Radiance on hard, Radiant Dawn on easy, or in Japanese it would be the normal mode, because they really messed up the difficulty. Shane Brain talked about that in his retrospective. There's the Metroid Prime trilogy, basically Prime 1 and 2 on GameCube and Prime 3 on Nintendo Wii. Thing is, I only did one of the Prime games, but that was part of a collab channel that has since been long dead now. Legendary Gamers HD, you remember that? The same one that I also did Rayman Legends for? Yeah, there's that. I may go back to doing Rayman Legends. But hey, at least you will most likely see it happen here on this channel. Oh, and the Legend of Zelda games. Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker HD, and Twilight Princess HD. I promised a few friends that I would cover these games. But Twilight Princess HD is something that's a necessity. Why I say that? Because it is. It wouldn't be me covering Zelda without them. Oh, and Patreon-sponsored playthroughs are going to happen. I did promise Dr. Dark 7 that I would do Ty the Tasmanian Tiger 2 HD, and I'm going to make good on it. Truly. I just need time because honestly, I don't have that many. Plus, it'll be worth it, and I'll explain why. And I am finally going to go through that playthrough back burner and finally get back into getting stuff that need to be finished. Dragon Quest XI-S is one example, A Hat in Time is another, and that's long over freaking due. Seriously, I may as well just list this right here because why not? You see this list? Yeah, this may change without warning. Just a heads up. Chapter 3, The Exceptions. Now, I did mention that there are exceptions to this, and there will be some new games that I want to cover. I'm going to list 3 examples. Pokemon Legends Arceus, King of Fighters 15, and Advance Wars Reboot Camp. These are the exceptions. The reason why is that I want to focus more on older games than newer ones. If Paper Mario was any indication, Legends Arceus is coming out at the end of January, while Advance Wars Reboot Camp is delayed till April. So during this time, you'll be seeing me cover other games. It's going to be interesting, but I also hope that it'll be enough for you guys to experience and enjoy. Whether this succeeds or not depends entirely on me. Oh, and 2 things. First, King of Fighters 15 is in it because I'll be doing a Road to KOF 15 series where I will do every KOF game up to the newest one. I should mention that KOF 11 might be skipped. I don't have a PS2, though if I did, I would definitely cover that game. I'm not doing 12 because it sucks. That's it. Also, Gunvolt 3. Gunvolt 3 is coming, and when it comes out, I will be covering it. That's a fact. Chapter 4, Power Rangers Dino Fury Season 2 Reviews. Now comes the meat of this. Since I finished my Dino Fury Season 1 reviews months ago, I never thought it would come to this. I'm serious, truly. Dino Fury Season 2 is coming exclusively to Netflix, and I'll be reviewing every episode when it arrives. In my opinion, it's about damn time that Hasbro has decided to bring the franchise away from a network that never treats their shows with respect onto a streaming service like Netflix. Sure, not many people have Netflix, but it's a lot better than having it on Nickelodeon. Just recently, they removed all the Dino Fury Season 1 episodes from Nick.com, so that pretty much tells you they're done with that series for good. I wouldn't be surprised if it was an old shame. I'm going to have so much fun mocking a company like Nick. But in all seriousness, the sooner we get a release date for Season 2 of Dino Fury, the better. And let me add one more thing to note. Nickelodeon never cared for Power Rangers, just like with Disney. The biggest factor was Nickelodeon forcing the franchise to enter a 20-episode mandate. That alone was what caused the series to stagnate, and it showed. I'm serious. That 20-episode mandate kind of derailed the franchise for a couple of years. Sure, there were good stuff, but not all of it was good. Not to mention that the franchise was exploited by Nickelodeon all for the sake of profits. Fitting that it was during the Dark Age where the network/company would exploit SpongeBob for all its work. Or rather, all it's worth. Same can be said for Power Rangers, and now that it's finally free, we can only go up from here. I really need to get the DVDs, honestly. There's no excuse. Oh, and if there's enough demand, I may start reviewing the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers starting with Season 1, where it all began. It all depends, though, so be sure to be on the lookout. Chapter 5, Save the PlayStation Legacy Fundraiser V2. I know someone's going to ask, why isn't it done yet? I'm still working on the script, damn it. Believe me, I am really trying to make it sound believable because it's not like I don't have anything else to say on the whole matter. Believe me. I'm trying my hardest to make it work. The video is coming and I'll say it to you straight. I'm more gung-ho than ever to ensure that Sony's legacy will never die. To prove it, I'll be spending $50 a month on PSN credit. Why? Because there are a lot of classic games that I want to get, and I mean a lot of PS1 classic games. This also includes the MegamanNG's series. I have them physically already, but I want to get them digitally just for the sake of it. The same can be said for PS2 titles, including a few that have been on the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. Yeah, if you already know, you can figure that out. I will be mentioning in my fundraiser video, and if you're interested, be sure to follow the instructions there. All I ask is for patience, nothing more. Chapter 6, Channel Hopes and Wishes, or rather dreams. In terms of my channel stats, I can say with certainty that things have been really slow. At the time of this video's release, I currently have 42,716 subscribers and only 3 channel members. Why only 3? Because it's hard to get your channel around when you're trying to get your content out there along with thousands of others. It's a nightmare, but it's one I've grown to accept. Why? Because I kind of made it that way, to be honest. My goal currently is to reach 50,000 subscribers and have 10 channel members. I want to work as hard as I can possibly do. Sometimes what I normally do doesn't work anymore, and that I need to change. There are times that I want to stream on YouTube, but in some instances, I just don't feel like it. I don't have the motivation. It just hurts, especially when you upload on a daily basis and you get very little love in return. It's the price that I pay for not being a big-time creator. And here's the thing, I don't need to be. I don't need to be because I don't want to change for anyone. I want to keep on being myself for the sake of it. I know some people may not be happy with what I'm about to say, but thing is, for the past 15 years, I've been uploading content on this YouTube channel, and I have endured everything that this website has wrought upon. Whether it be humiliation by a bigger creator, having your account sliced open by a company that are stingy douchebags when it comes to story mode content, enduring adpocalypse after adpocalypse. And you probably wonder why I still do this. I'm serious. I try so hard to make people happy with my YouTube channel that I realize that I can't please everybody. Honestly, I've grown to accept that because maybe it is for the best that I try to do what I can. Despite all that, I still keep on going, and I want to thank you all for giving me the motivation to do so. Creators normally would just move on and not want to do videos anymore if they can't, but me, I have to press on. There has to be a light at the end of the tunnel, because I don't know what will happen if there isn't. I don't really know. And finally, Chapter 7, Make or Break. Which brings me to the final chapter here on this state of address, Make or Break. 2022 is going to be the year because if I can't get this channel out of the rut, then I quit. Seriously, I will quit because something has to give. After 15 years, I don't know what to do anymore. I can't seem to figure out what to do or where to go from here. That's why I made the decision to go all retro from here on out. Why? Because it's a choice I wish to make. I tire of doing new games and I want to go back to something that I truthfully enjoy. And that's old school games. But I feel that maybe with that, maybe it's a sign for me to move on. Don't get me wrong. I've been applying to jobs and I'm hoping that if I get it, it can lead to some good news. If not, another reason for me to keep going and keep trying. I only hope that it never comes to that because all of this is a strain, physically and mentally. And I don't want to do something that I may end up regretting. Truthfully, I really don't want to. I don't want to ever have that happen. Yeah, were you expecting it to be longer? Nah. I got to get this video ready because, well, it's going to be up on midnight on January 1st. So yes, that's it. That is the state of address in a nutshell. I'm done talking and I've tried my hardest to get this out there. If this intrigues you, I hope you stick around. And if not, I tried my best. You also notice that I didn't start this with a shout-outs and sponsors thing, right? Well, that's what the end is for. At the end of every episode, you'll be seeing that, but I won't be saying anything. I'm only limiting it to Patreon shout-outs and channel member shout-outs. But if you want a shout-out of your own, consider either joining me on Patreon or by hitting that join button to be a channel member. That's it. I've said my piece. If you enjoyed this update, please be sure to hit that like button, that thumbs up button that you see down there. It really means a lot to me. Also, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click that bell. It helps the channel grow, and I can say with certainty that it will hopefully mean that I can make my dreams possible. This is MegamanNG's signing off. Peace out. May 2022 either make or break this channel. Hopefully make. See you then.